Hi, this is Larry London, and we welcome you to another Border Crossings. And today we're talking with a singer-songwriter who's in the country music world. Jordana Bryant is with us today here on Border Crossings. She's got a couple of new singles out. She's already got millions and millions of streams, and the numbers are just unbelievable already for Jordana Bryant. Nice to have you with us here on the Voice of America. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Larry. So happy to be here.
Now, you're just 17, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
Have you finished high school among all this music career stuff?
Yeah, I graduated a year early, so I just finished in June and moved to Nashville, and now I get to do music full time.
Wow. And where are you from originally?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Pennsylvania, a small town in Pennsylvania. How is Nashville treating you? I mean, has there been a big change from a small town to Music City?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy, but this past year, I've kind of been coming here like every other week while I was finishing my last year of high school and, recording a bunch of stuff, writing. So it already feels like home. I feel like I know the city so well because I've basically been here all of this year. So I'm really excited to be able to be here and spend all my time here.
Were you able to get to prom and do all the things that a high school student gets to do?
Yeah, so I was actually able to go to prom. It's funny because I was opening for Restless Road the night before in DC. So originally I didn't think I was going to be able to make it back, but I was. I didn't get to go to graduation because it was during CMA Fest and I was playing and doing some shows. But my family had a little graduation party, so it counts.
So this is early on for you in your career. You're just kind of getting going. And you've already got a record contract, which is fantastic. Everybody strives for a record deal. You've got one, so congratulations on that. And you've done some shows, some touring, and you just worked with a director on a video that Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift worked with.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy to me because I feel like I like getting to work with people who have worked with your inspirations is one of those like full circle moments that you're like, oh my gosh, like Carrie Underwood was sitting right here talking to this person like when she was making, her music video or whatever. But that's one of the things that I think is so cool about being in Nashville. You get to meet so many people that you look up to. And I just think that's so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to either meet Carrie Underwood or Taylor Swift?
Not yet. That would be a dream come true. But I did meet Kelsey Ballerini during CMA Fest, which was really amazing. She was so nice, and she's one of my inspirations too. I love her music. And I met Brian Kelly too through his musical May We All, because I was doing some stuff with them, and that was really cool. Those were like two moments where I was like, pinch me, this is insane.
Wow. Who would you like to collaborate with if you had the choice? It were up to you and somebody said, okay, give me a name and we'll make it happen.
That's a really good question. I'd say, okay, I have a few. I'd say definitely Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift are two of the biggest ones just because their like music is what I grew up loving and listening to a bunch. And I really just love how it feels like they've really stayed true to themselves throughout their careers. And then I'd also say Ed Sheeran, who even though he's not in country music, I feel like his writing is very visual, just like country music. And his melodies are just like so captivating. And I think that's really, really amazing. And then I'd say two of the artists that put out music a little earlier in the timeline, but that I love is Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire. And that would totally be a dream come true to get to meet them or work with them.
And when you're writing music, and I assume you write all your songs yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you're writing music, your inspirations write about relationships. Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift, certainly, they write about cheating and broken hearts and you do me bad and things like that. So I'm just kind of wondering how a 17-year-old, you don't have much experience with all of that love and getting hurt stuff. What are you writing? Where are you drawing your inspiration from?
Yeah, well, I think sometimes it can definitely be personal experience. I think a lot of the time, though, it can be like movies or TV shows or books, like, things you've read or seen, I feel like can be really good inspiration for songs. And then also I think stuff that your friends or family members have gone through that you're like, oh, that would make a really good song. Don't worry, I'll change your names. But
Have you told any guys this song's about you?
I haven't. I've definitely been asked that. They're like, is this song about me? I'm like, that's very self-centered of you to say that.
You should say yes. Yeah, it's about you. Just about you. And then the next one, yeah, you and you and you and you. Could be about 50 different
That's
people.
a good idea. Exactly.
All right. Well, would you do a song for us now? I'd love to hear you perform.
Yeah,
something.
totally. Totally. Let's do it.
What's
So
this song?
one is Guilty. It's the first song that I released with my label, Riser House. And I really wanted it to be the first song that I release with my team, because I feel like it's a really high energy and fun song. And I feel like that's a lot of who I am as a person and who I want to be as an artist. And so it's kind of just about being bold and telling someone that you're into them, because I feel like a lot of times, a lot of people, myself included, you know, don't feel like they have the confidence to tell someone how they're feeling. And I just think life's too short to waste time not just, you know, saying what you want and trying to go get it. And so I wrote this song to hopefully inspire some people to be confident and just go for it.
What's it called?
Guilty.
Jordana Bryant with Guilty here on Border Crossings.
I've been working way too hard to act like I don't care. If I got paid to hide the truth, I'd be a millionaire. You look at me, I look away. Wouldn't believe the energy it takes, but I bet it shows. Clear as a sign on the highway that I'm guilty of love, guilty so what? I'm guilty of thinking you too much. These feelings just won't quit, so I'll admit it. I'm guilty of you stuck in my heart, guilty of wanting to be in your arms, wanting to kiss, wanting to call, wanting to fall. I'm guilty of it. Oh, I'm guilty of it. Oh, guilty of it all. Yeah, I don't mind, and these words ain't locked up in my head. Those eyes that smile, yes, I was lying time till afterwards. So now you know, so to all my friends in the town small as it's ever been, they all know I'm guilty of love, guilty so what? Guilty of thinking too much. These feelings just won't quit, so I'll admit it. I'm guilty of you stuck in my heart, guilty of wanting to be in your arms, wanting to kiss, wanting to call, wanting to fall. I'm guilty of it. Oh, I'm guilty. Oh, I'm guilty for all those times I was walking right by. Thought I was shy. Turns out I was guilty of love. So what if I'm guilty of thinking you too much? These feelings just won't quit, so I'll admit it. I'm guilty, you stuck in my heart, guilty of wanting to be in your arms, wanting to kiss, wanting to call, wanting to fall. I'm guilty of it. Oh, I'm guilty. Oh, I'm guilty. Oh, I'm guilty of it. Oh, I'm guilty.
Yes, Jordana Bryant here on Border Crossings. And wow, the Guilty. I like that song. And you are,
Thank you.
You know, you talk about being a very positive, happy, upbeat person. I mean, that kind of is who you are outside of music.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I want to be the type of person that makes you like smile when you just have a conversation with them. And because like those are the people that lift you up and make you feel better. And so, and I just feel like there's so much to be grateful for in life. And there's no reason why you shouldn't have a smile on your face, you know? And I feel like that's a lot of what I want to do with my music. Music is one of the best ways to bring people together and to to lift them up. And music can have such a power over people. And so I feel like, you know, making music that makes people feel even better when they're having a great day, or that, you know, makes the bad days not as bad is super important. And that's really what I want to do with my music.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get through COVID? I mean, was it the music that got you through there? I mean, it changed the world, especially for a young person who's finishing her high school and, you know, came at a very difficult time in your life, a transition when you're going from school to career. And then here's this pandemic that slows the world down around us.
Yeah, definitely music was how I coped. And for me, I felt like I was really longing for a sense of community during COVID because we were all, you know, really isolated. And so I started going on to Instagram and going live every night and just, you know, going on to talk to people and to play some songs and hopefully, you know, bring some positivity to their days. And first it was only like 2 people and one of them was my parents logging on. But the more, you know, the more I went live, the more people started joining. And we were really creating a community where everyone could talk about what they were going through, and people could request songs, and we just had a good time. And I brought people onto my lives so we could talk and we could get photos and stuff like that. And I was really, I mean, for myself, it was really something that I looked forward to every night and something that made the days go by quicker, and it gave me something to, you know, to be excited for every day. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to, you know, start building that community and share my music with people on Instagram and get to connect with them.
Well, today you're sharing your music and your community with 100 different countries around the world. So hopefully we get a few more million followers, so it's beyond your parents and your friends. And,
I hope so. Although
and expand
I do
the
love
horizon.
them for still joining.
When do you plan on putting out your first album?
So we're releasing a bunch of songs right now. We've definitely talked about putting out a bigger project, but kind of what I really feel like I want to just be releasing a bunch of songs, because a lot of times when I'm playing demos and stuff, you know, on Instagram or TikTok, people really want them to be released and released soon. And so I feel like right now I'm kind of just sticking to singles so that I can get out as much of the music as possible for them. But we definitely have been talking about doing a longer project. So hopefully really soon.
And you've got 15 million views, I understand, or 15 million streams.
Yeah, something like that on YouTube and stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy. Those numbers, did you ever imagine that you'd have 15 million of anything?
No, I remember, so a little bit before the pandemic is when I started posting some covers on YouTube. And the first one I posted was a cover of Senorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello. And it was one that I filmed in a hotel room with my dad when we were in Fort Wayne, Indiana, after recording at the first ever studio I'd recorded at when I was like 14. And I remember we had ordered Papa John's pizza and we were like, let's just film a cover and see what it does. And then a few days later, when we had posted it, I remember going into my mom and dad's room, and my dad was like, you have 5,000 views on that video. And I was like, what? 5,000 views? Like, I was flabbergasted. I was so surprised that I could get 5,000 views. And then that video got like a few million views after a little bit. And so it was just mind blowing to me, because I wasn't even thinking about, you know, millions of views or anything like that. I was just, let's just post a cover and see if it gets a few hundred views. And it's been really cool to get to share my music with people, and I don't know, to just get to connect with so many people through social media. I feel like that's one of the best things about social media.
Now, as people are watching this interview, it's hard to imagine that probably has never been a time in your life where there wasn't social media. But yet, many of us, you know, myself included, got into the business. There was no such thing as social media. People didn't have that exposure on the internet and, you know, on all these social platforms that they have today. You're in the business at a lucky time to be seen and to get exposure. But then again, there's a lot of downside to social media. There's a lot of people who hide behind false identities and are haters and say negative things and mean things. And we have cyberbullying and all that stuff like that. What advice do you give to your fans, to all of the people who like Jordana Bryant, you know, when it comes to negativity in the world?
Totally. I mean, what I say, and it's something that I try to tell myself a lot because it can be hard when you read negative comments to, it can be hard to not believe them. And like, I think just one of the things is if someone's taking the time to write a negative comment about you, like it's not about you, it's something they're dealing with because like think about yourself. If you truly just didn't like someone's voice or didn't like the music, you would just scroll past it. Like you just don't want to listen to it more. But if someone is taking the time to write something mean to you, like it's their own problems. And so just try to remember that because I know it can be really hard, like especially when you see those like paragraph comments, it can be hard to stop yourself from from reading it, and that just it makes you feel sad and you start believing it, but it's nothing about you. And so I think that's one of the things. And definitely when you start seeing a negative comment, just delete it, don't even look at it. Like it's not going to make you feel better to read it. So I think there's obviously a lot of hate on the internet, but there are a lot of people who also are very loving and very supportive, and that's one of the things that's really been incredible too, that people in my community, when they'll see a negative comment, they'll respond and be defending me. And I'm like, I don't know what I did to get your support, but thank you so much. Like there are so many kind people on the internet. So just try to remember that. And if you're doing something you love, then it's totally worth it. And don't even listen to the people who are saying negative things.
What's been the most inspirational message you've received?
There were a few that were like, I was about to commit suicide, but your daily, especially during COVID, there were a few that were, I was about to commit suicide, but your daily lives saved me and they gave me something to look forward to. And those were just the moments where you are like, that is incredible. It's something that I never thought was possible to be able to have that big of an impact on someone. And it makes you be like, this is so like why I'm doing it, like those are the moments where you're like every minute where you're working really hard and you feel like it's not paying off, where you lose an opportunity where you thought something was going to be like, a big chance, and then it ends up being a door shut in your face. Like those are the moments where you're like, everything is worth it. And this is why I want to do music. And so those moments have been just incredible. I don't know words for them.
So it's been a short career so far. You're just kind of getting started the last couple of years, and you actually picked up a guitar, I think, when you were 10, and that's when you started playing music, and you're now 17. When do you turn 18?
Well, I just turned 17 a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So we got a while to go before you can become 18. No drinking for you. No,
Yeah, that's a few years away.
That's a few years away. But for Jordana Bryant, what's been the highlight for you so far in this short ride? What can you single out a moment or something that stands out above the rest?
That's a really good question. I think I would probably say that like my first show that I really did, where there were people who had come to see me, was just one of the coolest things, because for people to take the time out of their day and spend the money on a ticket to come and to drive to see you, like that's incredible. And then to get to meet them and take photos with them and hear about their lives and their stories is so cool. And it's so awesome, because I love meeting people, and on social media you definitely get to meet them, but it's different than when you get to be in person and hug them and get to hear all about what's been going on with their lives. And so I feel like that was definitely probably one of my favorite moments when I did my first show opening for another band, and I got to meet some people who had come to see me, and it was just so cool.
All right, so we're going to put you on the spot now. If you haven't already named your fans, what's your fan club called? What is a fan of Jordana Bryant called?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't thought of a name. Maybe like, I don't know. That's a really good question. I have to put some time into that, because I feel like some people have really good names, like Taylor Nations or like Swifties.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good name. I don't know.
See, that's something for you to talk to your parents about, manager, and see, what are we going to call?
Exactly.
When you're up to 15 million views, you better have a name for all those people who are viewing you. And soon they'll be out cheering you on live in concert. Jordana Bryant is our guest here on Border Crossings. Would you do another song for us?
Yes, totally. Oh, you know what I just thought of? Maybe like Jordana fans, like Bryant fans.
Fans. Yeah.
I think it needs some work, but it needs some workshopping.
It's a start. That's the first draft.
Exactly. A first draft to revise a few times. Yeah, so this one is called New Friends, and I just released it a little bit ago. And it's a song I wrote about friends drifting apart, because I feel like that's something that is kind of universal. Everyone, goes through that, where the people you were really close with when, in childhood aren't necessarily people who are going to be, there when you grow up and everything, and when you become an adult. And I think that's just part of life, where friends drift apart and make new friends, but it's still hard when, someone who was there for a lot of your life, starts becoming less of it. And so I wanted to write this song about that. And it was really crazy to me to see how many people were really relating to the song. And it wasn't one I was initially planning to release as quickly, but it was one that a lot of people were really asking for. So we decided to put it out as my second single. And so this came out in June, and it's called New Friends.
New Friends, Jordana Bryant here on Border Crossings.
I get it, we're 17 and it's a Saturday night. And I get it, I can't compete with the party or the lights. I'm not trying to guilt trip you or tell you what you should do. That's not what I want, not what I want. And I'm not trying to make you feel, I guess right now I'm missing real bad Saturdays for us. That used to be enough, but now you got new clothes, new kicks, inside jokes with the cool kids. Just knew that, and knew this, switching old posts for new pics. You got new bands on your t-shirts, new plans to stop calling me first. People say people don't change, but they do it. Old friends get new friends. Old friends get new friends. I get it. There's two of us, and there's only one in line. And I get it. Friends forever doesn't always mean for life. I don't want to hold you back. I just want the old you back. Secretly, I'm hoping that you're still there underneath those new clothes and new kicks, inside jokes with cool kids. Just do that and do this. Such an old post with new pics. You got new bands on your t-shirts, new plans to stop calling me first. People say people don't change, but they do it. Old friends get new friends. Old friends get new friends. I get it. Friends forever doesn't always mean for life. I can't compete with the party or those new clothes and new kicks, inside jokes and cool kids. Just do that and do this. Switching old posts for new pics. You got new bands on your t-shirts, new plans to stop on me first. People say people don't change, but they do it. Old friends get new friends. Old friends get new friends. Old friends get new friends. Old friends get new friends.
Yes, Jordana Bryant, New Friends, which sounds to me like it could be the name of an album or an EP.
I mean, it's actually funny because it's been something we're talking about. There's so many songs that I've written with the words friends in them. There's New Friends. There's a song Best Friend that people have really been asking for me to release. There's a song Ex's Best Friend that I wrote. There's a song Fake Friends that I wrote on a TikTok live with everyone who was on the live. And so I was like, should we just call the album Friends and put out all of these songs?
Yeah, song about friends. That's a good theme. I like that. I like that. So where is the most unusual place that you ever got inspiration for a song?
That's a really good question. I feel like a lot of times it can be when you're like lying in bed and you're just like, you think of a lyric or something. I think a lot of times also when you're like just walking around the house doing a bunch of like, doing just different things, you're just like thinking about stuff. But let me see, what is the most interesting place? Probably, I feel like when I was at like a baseball game once, I saw this like couple a few rows like down. They were just being like really sweet, and the guy was like, giving the girl his jacket because she was cold, and he was like holding her stuff while she was like, getting out of it. And I feel like I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, and so I wrote a song about like that type of relationship where he's, but it can be from a lot of different things, I feel like.
Wow, that's exciting. And are you going on tour? You talk about being somewhere you watch a lot of people. Are you going out on a tour? Do you have a tour date or tour dates in mind? I mean, here we are in September, the fall's here. Soon it'll be the holiday season. What's the plan for the next few months?
Yeah, totally. So I've been doing a bunch of shows around Nashville and some, I did CMA Fest. I've done a bunch of rounds in town. And I've been doing some shows opening for some other bands like Restless Road I did a show for. But hopefully I'll be able to soon do a few more shows and maybe a tour.
Has it always been country music for you? I mean, is that?
Yeah. I mean, my dad used to be in a bunch of bands when he was growing up. He used to play guitar a lot. And so, and he was in a bunch of country rock bands. So I would always kind of hear that music around the house. And I just fell in love with, Garth Brooks, Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline, George Strait. And I really loved how vivid the songs they wrote were, and how you could really picture every lyric and almost like see yourself in the song. And I feel like that was so cool. So when I started writing, I knew those were the types of stories that I wanted to tell. And so I really just gravitated towards country music from the start.
Did you look at any of the songs that you wrote when you were 10 and think, wow, this could be something? Or if you looked and said, oh, what was I thinking?
There are definitely a lot of, whoa, what was I thinking? Yeah, it's funny because I started posting some on TikTok where it's like a series rating old songs I wrote, and a lot of them are pretty rough. But there are a few where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of surprised that 10-year-old me was somewhat decent.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to even start writing songs or poetry, however it began for you, to actually create something that would live in song. I mean, a lot of people use music as therapy, to help them get through good times, bad times, memories. They keep memories about occasions and things. So, do you remember where you were when you heard your music on the radio for the first time?
That's a good question. I still haven't really heard myself. Like, there are a few people who have told me on Instagram and stuff on local stations that they've heard like my songs playing, but I haven't gone out to radio, done a radio tour yet. So, we haven't tried to get my songs on, terrestrial radio and stuff like that yet, but that's definitely a dream of mine to be able to hear one of my songs on the radio. So hopefully someday soon.
On the to-do list. Now, we are broadcasting not only around the world, but also to the troops who are tuned in around the world as well. And they always seem to support country music. It seems like country music has a really special relationship with the military. Are you planning any USO tours or anything in front of the military?
Oh my gosh, I would love that. That would be incredible, just because they're the reason why people like us get to do what we love. And like, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, people in other countries don't get the opportunity to choose, like, I want to be a musician. Like, in a lot of countries that are developing or that are, under really, strong leadership that, doesn't give them freedom, they don't get to choose what they want to do. They kind of just have to do whatever they can to survive. And we're really lucky and blessed in our country that we have people, men and women, who will fight for our freedom and our ability to do what we want and to be musicians or artists or cooks or whatever it is. And I think that's so incredible. So I would love to be able to do a show and just get to thank some of them for all that they're doing for everyone in this country.
Well, hopefully an invitation will come your way very, very soon. Jordana Bryant is our guest. We'll ask for one more song, if you don't mind.
Yeah, totally. So this is another song that I just released a few weeks ago, and it's called Country Music. And it's basically about, I feel like everyone has their one like red flag in a relationship where if someone has, that certain trait, they just can't be with them. And for me, that's music taste. If someone doesn't like country music, I feel like I just can't be with them. And so I wrote this song about that, and we wanted to just make it super fun and playful. And so I released this one a couple weeks ago, and it's called Country Music.
Country Music, Jordana Bryant on Border Crossings.
You got it all, boy, everything I want, boy. Got that style, perfect smile, then I fall for everything except that there's a little red flag. Yeah, there's only one thing that you're missing. Not trying to blame you, cause it's not your fault. Ain't hating your roots, but you might want think about trying to change up the dial, cause I would like to. If you like country music, ooh, country music. If you wanna be my boy, then you gotta just try, boy. Sam and Johnny, you can dial to get you right, boy. Not on a phone, singing all of those songs. But if you like me, that's not me, I'm fixing. Not trying to blame you, cause it's not your fault. Ain't hating your roots, but you might want to think about trying to change up the dial, cause I would like to. If you like country music, if you roll them windows down and cruise, you leave a little bit of dirt up on the roof. You drop that tailgate when we park under the moon. You be that boy I could use if you like country music. Ooh, country music. Not trying to blame you, cause it's not your fault. Ain't hating your roots, you might want to think about trying to change up the dial, cause I would like to. Not trying to blame you, cause it's not your. Ain't hating your roots, but you might want to think about trying to change up the dial, cause I would like to. If you like country music, if you need to roll them windows down and cruise, you leave a little bit of dirt up on the roofs. You drop that tailgate when we park under the roof. You'll be that boy I could use. You like country music.
Jordana Bryant, and that is country music. Okay, so that's one red flag. Give me two other red flags that get a guy off your list immediately.
Definitely how he treats his mom. I feel like if he is like respectful to his parents and his mom, I feel like that's a really good sign. If he's not so much. And then let's see what else. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I like a guy who like opens the door and is just like sweet and will give you their jacket and stuff like. I feel like those chivalrous things matter to me. So right. I guess those would be my two other red flags.
All right. Well, Jordana Bryant, what a pleasure it is to meet you and to talk to you and hear all of the positive things you've got to say, because the world needs more positivity right now. We've got so much going on, so much noise going on around us that it's great that music is the universal language and that you can share your music with us. And when you do put out the album, please come back and join us again. We'd like to have you on.
Thank you. Definitely. I would love that.
That would be wonderful. Maybe by then we'll be in our studio and we can actually have you in studio.
That would be amazing.
Now, if people want to get your music, obviously it's Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere music's available. But how about if they want to get in touch with you? You're very active on social media, so give us your social media sites.
Yeah, totally. So I post a ton on Instagram, TikTok, all of those sites. So that's Jordana.Bryant. And then I have a lot of stuff on YouTube, a lot of music videos. And so if you just search Jordana Bryant, you'll find my channel. And yeah, a bunch of my music is out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, Pandora, all those places. So basically anywhere you listen to music, you can probably find my music.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And we look forward to lots of great things from you in the future. And as I say, come back and see us when the album comes out. We'd love to have you on again.
Thank you so much. Definitely. That would be awesome. I'd love that.
Jordana Bryant is our guest. It's country music. You better like country music if you want a chance with her. My name is Larry London, and you are watching Border Crossings on VOA TV.